right, guys, we are here with a little Agni guide situation. So on Agni, right off the bat, you've got to choose between Sands of Time and Conduit. Conduit is objectively the better item early in the game, and it's going to give you a big clear diff. Sands of Time, way better in the ultra late game. In general, I prefer the Sands of Time. I have tried to make the stupid flippin' Conduit gem work so hard, and every time I get the Conduit gem a little bit close to where I want it, it falls apart at the seams. So I have become a full Sands of Time boy on basically everybody, because every time I don't do Sands of Time, I regret it. So I recommend grabbing that Sands of Time. Admittedly, the Conduit gem at the end of the game on Agni is nice because you get the triple proc on the bomb and that super cool beans and a lot of bonus damage. But every time I buy it, I just go, man, Sands of Time here would have been nice. So at level 1, this is actually going to be different than traditionally on Agni. Normally, in the history of Agni, you would grab the 3 here first. But on Agni right now, you're going to want to grab your 2 first. But the caveat is make sure you build up your passive before you use your 2. So I build up my passive, and then I'm going to pop my 2. That damage that you actually get from your 2 on Agni is way, well, I would say way stronger, I guess. It is better, and it's easier to hit. You never know who's going to get the mobs pulled over there in that triple pull. If their soul laner pulls them a weird way, or if they get reset or something dumb and you dash and it doesn't hit them. Way safer to use the 2. Just make sure you do get that passive up. If you don't get the passive up, you're going to notice that your clear was kind of crappy. So make sure you build up those 4 autos before you use the ability, and you should have plenty of time to do that, considering how far you have to pull those buffs. So Agni, gonna be a mid laner, almost exclusively played in the mid lane role. Every once in a while, you'll see somebody try to flex Agni into the jungle or something. But 98% of the time, you get yourself an Agni middle. It is where he is the best. As of right now, in terms of his general meta, he's good, not great. He is good at proccing Soul Reaver and E-Staff and stuff. So he is not a terrible option as far as this tankier meta is concerned. The one thing that you have to be careful for on Agni is actually his wave clear. His wave clear early tends to be a bit lackluster, because what Agni would really like to do is use his dash aggressively to clear. But if you use your dash aggressively to clear, you're gonna get wrecked. And there's a lot of action in the mid lane right now. Junglers stick around. So as long as you're building up your 2, making sure you're getting that passive every time, it's gonna help out a lot with your clear, and you should be okay. But against some of the really long-range poke gods, really high clear gods, Poseidon is actually a pretty good god against Agni. You'll feel the struggle a little bit in the early. Agni definitely a god that starts thriving once you get to that level 13 or so. Now right now we got the Suki coming to mid. Gonna pop my shard for bonus damage, throw down the stun, dash right through him, and then my Suki is gonna be able to go ahead, hit him with a couple abilities, wrap it up. The second you see that jungler coming in, you go ahead, move forward, get the kill. Now, it should be noted, if you are playing a mid laner and you're about to get a gank from your jungle, wait for your jungle to be in range before you start moving forward. Because if you start moving forward too early, especially if you haven't been moving forward earlier and playing aggressive earlier, there's a good chance they're going to recognize that they're getting ganked and they're going to back up. So wait for that jungle to be close enough that they're in range, and then you go in and look for the damage. For our first item here in Agni, I'm going to be grabbing the Warlock Staff. I've moved towards using Warlock Staff on basically everybody in mid. I do think that Doom Orb is fun and a good item, especially on the gods that abuse movement speed, Shelly and Ra, etc. But I'm finding the more that I play, the more that couple hundred of HP on the Warlocks is a massive game changer. And especially once you get it stacked, it's one of the highest magical power items in the game right now. On top of the fact that it does give you a little bit of sustain. I'm finding it nigh impossible to beat in that first slot, just because every mage wants a bunch of power. Every mage could use a little bit of HP, and then 10% pen doesn't hurt. Now, I don't know if I can 100-0 this guy, but I am going to get a lot of damage on him. Just going to hit him with that triple poke, make him back up a little bit, and if I do get one of my ultis back up, I might be able to go in and finish him. I'm going to get ready to dash on this the second he moves up. The second that I see him get in range, and here he comes. So I'm going to go ahead and pop the 2-1, get the stun off, and be able to secure that kill. And then behind me, the wave was cleared because I dashed through it. Just giving myself enough time for that ultimate to come back up so I can grab that kill. On Agni, for your level order, the one big thing that has changed about him recently, like I said, is at level 1, you're going to grab the 2. It used to be the 3, but you're going to max out Agni in the order of 2, 4, 3, 1. So get your Flame Wave and your Rain Fire all the way max. Then you're going to level up your 3 for a little bit of extra damage on Path of Flames. You don't get any cooldown or anything on it. And then finally, you're going to level up that Noxious Fumes. Noxious Fumes damage is not terrible. It used to be horrible, horrible, horrible garbage. But nowadays, its damage is decent. But it's still not good enough to be leveled up outside of the 1 point. Just to make sure that you've got your stun combo. Speaking of stun combos on Agni, you basically got 2 major options. When you're playing your Agni, that is either going to be ulti and then pop your 1 so you get the stun off of the ultimate. Or you pop your 2 and then your 1. One of the things that new players tend to do on Agni that is incorrect is throwing down the 1 before you use your damage ability. And if you do it in that order, you're going to give them plenty of time to get out of your abilities. So you don't want to do 1 and then 2. That is wrong. You want to do ulti, then 1 while you're waiting for the bomb to come down, or 2 and then 1 while you're waiting for the 2. Because the way that the Flame Wave works, it's literally like a rolling ability. It means that when you press the button and then you put down the stun, it's actually going to meet them at the end of it. So you get that stun off. So 2, 1, boom. Stuns are right at the end. Never 1, 2. Always 2, 1. Got a Fafnir coming in towards me, so I'm going to look back towards him. Nope, we're fine. It's going to go right back to farming. For my second item, I'm going to be grabbing myself a Spear of Desolation. In my opinion, Spear of Desolation is still a mandatory mid item, no matter who you're playing. The cooldown that you get from Desolation, not just on the item, but on the actual passive, might be the best passive of any item in Smite. Particularly for a god like Agni, who already has a very low ultimate cooldown. It means that you get a kill, and then your ultimate is basically back up, so you get an extra meteor, which means you can probably get another kill, which basically means you have another meteor up, which basically means you can get another kill. So you can see how that effect snowballs really hard. Not to mention, it's just dummy cheap. 2350 for the stats that it gives in this day and age. Not too shabby. Not too shabby at all. All right, gonna go ahead and back it up. Start working on that Spear of Deso. Now we can head back to mid. Now that we've got the Warlocks and the Deso online, this is almost always my starting build on mages right now. There's a couple of other items you can fit into that second slot, but if you're ever playing a mage and you're like, I don't know what to build, Sands of Time, Warlocks, Deso, even if it's not like the 100% best build on that particular god, it's gonna be good still. Like there's no area where this is gonna be like, oh, I can't believe they only built a Spear of Desolation. You're gonna be fine. right? You're going to be totally fine. But at this point in the build, it's when you get to start to flex a little bit. Looking at their team, Tier's got healing, Kama's got healing, Marty's got built-in healing, Fafnir has healing. A lot of people forget that. So they've got a lot of sustain on that team. So I'm going to go into the double flat pen, and I'm going to get a Divine Ruin as my next item. If they had stronger healers, they've got like a lot of little healing. So I can afford to get the Divine Ruin as my next item. If they had like an Aphrodite and a Guan Yu, something crazy like that, then you just get the Divine Ruin in that Deso slot, and then you flip the Deso behind it. Super easy to flip around. Easy peasy, lemon squeezy. Agni, a nice god in the mid lane, as well to pick when you don't know what your teammates are going to play, because Agni is not a god that needs anybody to set up for him. So some mid laners, Poseidon's a good example, would highly prefer some sort of like Athena or Geb or something to pair with him, right? Something that sets him up and gives him a lot of opportunities. Agni doesn't need that because Agni's got the bomb stun. He sets up a lot of opportunities for himself. And because he does have a getaway skill as well, he's fairly safe. He's not the safest mid lane. Obviously, you have to be careful against guys that have walls, Thor, Ymir, etc. Because it is a dash, not a leap. So he does have a couple susceptibilities on that front. But in general, one of the safer mid lane gods. Gonna grab ourselves an Aegis here as our second active.
In your Discord. I'm big sad. Please do another one.
Then we've got ourselves our beads, of course. Beads and Aegis gonna be your standard actives on literally every mid laner. Every once in a while, if you want to flex, there's a couple of mid laners that you can get blink on. But 98% of the time, you're going to be grabbing yourself a beads, and you're going to be grabbing yourself an Aegis. If you just heard that little sound effect, that little sound effect is the 30-second timer on the Papa Totem spawn. So when you hear that little sound, that's a global sound. That will be the indication to you that the obelisk is about to spawn, which means get your butt over there to the obelisk so your whole team can get a permanent movement speed buff. Now, we've got a solid lead at this point of the game, which means that this is going to go mostly uncontested, because if they walk up to here, chances are they're just going to immediately lose these fights. Now we're going to move back and get to our farm. So one thing that you've probably noted while we've been playing this Agni is that we're always farming something. In the mid lane, you should always be farming. You do wave, you go to a camp. You do wave, you go to a camp. And it never stops unless you're backing. Unless you're backing all the way to the base, you're always running to some sort of farm. Got a little ward here that we can get rid of, because there's always something for you to do. You've got a Carol Bastion to get rid of. You've got a mid harpy up. You've got a bat camp up. You've got a green buff up. Their green buff is up, right? There is always something to be farming. Mid lane has the potential to be one of the highest farmed roles in the game, as long as you are consistently running to the XP. Now, the other thing that you could do is rotate and look for kills. Rotating as a mid laner, unless you're one of the really fast mid laners like a Poseidon or a Shelly or something, tends to lose out on a lot of experience. Like, not a little bit of experience, a lot of bit of experience. So you got to be careful. You can see just me backing to the base and trying to come back here. I basically miss half a wave. So anytime you go to rotate, try to proxy farm as high forward as you can. It's like if I wanted to rotate over to duo, I'd want to move as far up here as I can, clear this as fast as I can, and then start the rotation over, because that's going to buy me the maximum amount of time trying to get over. But they get the kill on that Camazot, and I'm better off just stealing that green buff and taking some farm from the enemy team. Gonna grab the Oreos so they don't get the vision on it. Our Jorm did TP in, but I've got another wave spawning in mid, so I've got to get back towards that. Now we can head back over to the gold. Agni's objective is secure. Decent, not great. Poseidon, much better objective secure, so I'm looking towards him right now, trying to see if I can find the Poseidon. He's pretty far back. I don't know if he's going to be able to get to this in time. He will not. Your secure combo on the objectives for Agni is going to be your bomb and then your 2. If you pop your ulti in your 2, those are going to pop the damage numbers at just about the exact same time, which means that you're getting both of their damages kind of at once as one giant secure. It's not going to beat a lot of the other mid laners. Thoth ult's going to do it better. Scylla's going to do it better. Eset's going to do it better. Poseidon's going to do it better. But you will have better secure than some of the really low secure gods like Shelly, like Chang'e. Not exactly where they thrive. It's one of their weaknesses, right? So he kind of falls into the middle ground on that. Gotta back it up. We've got double flat pen. Then we've got the percent pen on the Warlocks. We're gonna need a lot more percent pen in this game, so we're gonna grab ourselves a Karen's coin. Karen's coin, if you need a lot of percent pen, is just the way to go right now. Obshard, like, sucks. Like, real bad. So there's no point in ever buying Obshard. So if you need the full 20% pen, because you couldn't find a way to work other 10% items into your build, go ahead and grab yourself that coin for the 20%. If we didn't have to get a Divine Ruin this game, it would also open up the build a little bit more. Mage builds are quite strict when you have to get a Divine Ruin. This takes away a whole item slot, which really restricts the rest of your build as well. If we didn't have to get a Divine Ruin this game, there's a good chance I put an E-Staff in that slot. At the end of this game, I'm going to grab myself a Soul Reaver, because Agni is one of the better Soul Reaver proccers in the world, because he's got so many abilities that proc it. And as much as it would have been nice to do an E-Staff plus Soul Reaver combo for a little bit of double proc, I gotta clear this wave and then run back over to my boys. Try to see if I can peel for Suki. I'm actually just gonna dash this way so that I can just throw down the guaranteed stun right there on the tier, which should be able to get us a kill. Normally dashing for the stun would be risky, but 1, we've got a pretty big lead, and 2, I was dashing backwards towards my team. And towards my tower, so basically just guaranteed the stun right there. So we could grab ourselves the kill. I hear a Marty. I see a Marty. Ow. I feel a Marty. I feel it. Some people like to get the Karen's coin a little bit earlier in the build because they want to get the stacks going. I would rather have the flat pen earlier on in the game. Flat pen is just better. So if you can get away with getting the double flat pen early, you'll do a lot more damage. Will it delay you on stacks? Sure, but the stacks on Karen's coin, half of them are useless because they're the HP 5 stacks, and who cares? The movement speed stacks are good because movement speed is a crazy good stat in Smite, but would you rather have the extra flat pen, so you're basically doing 10% more damage, or would you rather have 2% movement speed? Probably the bonus damage. All right, looking for a big stun combo. Not gonna get it. Wow, I am just gonna get deleted inside of a whirlpool freaking Marty 1 combo. Gross. We do force the Camazot to ult. I could not move anywhere inside of that. That was gross. I was literally pressing my W key and like my character wasn't even moving. We barely reached Fafnir with that combo. It kind of looked a little bit like that Fafnir got smite circled TBH, but we take our blessings where we can get them. Poseidon's moving forward, which means Poseidon is going to die. Oh, that was a good uke. He's still dead anyway, but it was a good uke. Bees and Aegis now down on Poseidon. Unfortunately, his juke into the jungle put him right into a Scotty. So, good juke though. Good play. As far as ranking up your actives, you're gonna have to wait until basically the end of the game. Only time I recommend ranking up your actives early is if you're going against some sort of combo like an Ares with a Nox, where they're just not letting you play the game if your beads aren't up. In that kind of hypothetical, you can grab yourself the ranked up beads on an Agni, because Agni doesn't have the CC immune ulti, right? But otherwise, you're just putting your damage on hold, and it's all for just basically some lower cooldown on your actives. All right, we're basically in the late game now for us, because we are level 20 and nearly full build. Our Nike's got herself in a bit of a pickle. At this point, we're just looking to group up, go around, do some objectives. Got a 10k lead as a team, which basically means as long as we're getting grouping and not doing anything too dumb, we should be able to put this one away. Although we do have to be careful going for things like Fire Giant, because as aforementioned, Agni not the best objective securer. Trying to get over to our Marty, because we should be able to grab a lot of kills here. We're getting those Desolation procs. We're getting the Desolation procs, which gives us our abilities back up, which gives us the Desolation proc, which gives us our abilities back up, which gives us the Desolation proc, which gives us our abilities back up. You can see why the Desolation on Agni is so dummy thick. Get a kill, get a bomb, get a bomb, get a kill, get a kill, get a bomb, get a bomb, and get a kill. Now, to be fair, Desolation is a stupid item on every mage, but particularly on a god like Agni, because you get that massive cooldown on your ultimate, and he already has a low cooldown to begin with. Alright, he has a low one to begin with. Alright, we should move over, look towards the Fuego, go get ourselves a Pyro, start grouping up, taking down tier 2s, all that good stuff. Dash right through that for some bonus damage. For 2 for the secure. Alright, now we back it up and start working on Soul Reaver. Soul Reaver is an item that I would always buy on Agni. Right now, if you can proc Soul Reaver efficiently, good for you as a mage. Chances are they're going to be running 2 to 3 tank/hybrid builds, which means getting some bonus damage coming out against those tanks is extra nice. And because Agni has really 7 damaging abilities, if not, it depends if you want to count his passive or not, and also how many times you want to count his ultimate from the Desolation procs, but not unreasonable for an Agni to get upwards of like 8 or 9 potential procs in one fight from a set of abilities, which is, woo, kind of a big deal. Speaking of kind of a big deal, I dashed directly into a tier ult, which was either the biggest brain tier ult in the history of Smite, or such a whiff that was barely in my audio radius that it baited me to death. I don't know. It was either the best or the worst, or it was the worst that became the best, so it doesn't even matter. What a good tier ult. Anywho, work ourselves here at a Sentry Ward and keep going towards that Soul River. That was amazing. That was so far away, and yet the perfect ult. And yet the perfect crime. Gold Fairy just spawned. Looks like the boys are going to go for the mid tier 2. They probably should have done the Gold Fury there because it's Oni, but an objective is an objective, and I'm dead because I dashed into a tier roll, so I don't get to make any choices. Want to make choices? Don't dash into tier rolls. Oh, they're actually going to get a Phoenix off this. A good play. Surprised they had enough damage to do that, but I guess they do have the Scotty Puppy, and Scotty Puppy can tank the Phoenix for days. For days, I tell ya. I'm just going to build up my passive right there off of the Gold Fury. And now we're basically just running around and grabbing farm. We got to get wards out over by the Fire Giant. I gotta go pick up my red buff. Oni's up. A lot of objectives on the map, and this is where we should start to be able to put this away. Get that uncomebackable lead with these objectives last tower and kind of just push down with the Titan. They're not gonna contest Papa Totem. Gotta put down a sentry ward on the Fire Giant, because really, their only comeback mechanic at this point is if they were to grab themselves the Fuego in a sneaky, cheeky play. No sneaky cheekies here. Just go do the Gold Fury. We've got the ward on fire, so you get the Oni creeps running down. We'll have an Oni wave with the Titan shoving down left lane, so they're gonna have to go deal with it. Which means we can just run over to do the Fire Giant, and that should put this one away for us. We get all their tier 2s, probably get all their Phoenixes, maybe even get the Titan with our Titan. Let's get their Titan with our Titan. Here's your little fun Titan reminder. When the Titans are out on the field, they're very literally not in the base, which means you cannot end the game. So if you'd like to run down the Titan while the Titans are fighting, you can't. So pick a different plan. All right, now we should probably get over by the Titans over on the left side, because we got to kill their Titan so we can actually kill their Titan. Got to kill the fake Titan so you can kill the real Titan. That's not confusing at all. Smite. Looks like they're all rotating over to kill the Titan. So our Scotty's by herself, but Scotty is hard to kill because she's got a lot of movement speed. We might just be able to wipe him over here, then after we wipe him, end the game as they're going for the Scotty. Even if she does die, which it looks like he's going to. Marty's at 1 HP. He's going to drop down right into my combo. We're not going to be able to catch the Poseidon because he's moving at 1,000,000 miles an hour, but we did kill their Titan. Our stayed alive. We get 3 kills over here. Bada bing, bada boom. We're going to be able to at least get the Phoenixes off of this, if not the game. Phoenixes, if not game. Looking towards Poseidon. Just not going to be able to reach him. That is a fast boy. I tried to dash towards him, but if he moves up just a little bit out of there, he is not planning on moving even a little bit out of there. So I'm just going to keep building up my passive before I use my abilities. Trying to get all of the bonus damage that I can on this Titan. Pop a little beads Aegis there for the combo. Okay, now we're just burning through abilities because the Titan's kind of down at 1 HP. Might die here to the tier at the end. I'm just going to dash in to get my Flame Wave on the Titan, and we'll be able to kill him. Just trying to get a little bonus damage here, a little bonus damage there, and we were able to put it away. Long story short on Agni, don't get wrecked in the early game. Your clear is a closer range than other characters, which means you're susceptible to getting blinked on by the jungler early, getting put behind, all that good stuff. You just got to make it to the mid game. Agni's a team fighter in his heart of hearts. And once you get that Desolation proc going, as long as your team is killing 1 or 2 people, you should be able to kill the 3rd and 4th person, because you're going to have all of your skills right back up anyway. And that is how you do a little Agni action. Make sure you subscribe to the main YouTube channel, ring that bell for notifications, and make sure you subscribe to our second channel as well. So if you're not, check it out in the description down below. Or if you're on Twitch, you can type in !TTY to bring up all the links to all the different socials. Thank you for supporting the Twitchiest community. If you'd like to see more videos, make sure you subscribe to the channel and always hit that bell for notifications so you don't miss any of the upcoming videos. Thank you for all your support and have a Twitchin' day, y'all.